What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Now, today's video is all about PSA again. Now, my last video, I got a little bit of heat because I was a little bit harsh on PSA and how they were handling this whole backlog thing. But today is a video of praise towards PSA. Something that could possibly revolutionize the way we grade and the way grading is done. Without further ado, I really hope you enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you. On Wednesday, we were talking about this. The fact that, let me move myself over here. The fact that PSA had acquired or purchased Genamint, which is an AI company, which basically can grade your cards for you, or PSA gets them graded by Genamint, which is an AI program, and they purchased it. So there's no actual news on how much it cost PSA to acquire this company. It is a startup company, and usually with startup companies, the amount which it was purchased for is usually undisclosed. So it says here terms weren't disclosed, and all of that. We went through this earlier in the week, but it was just really interesting because, as it says here, you know, a record 660,000 cards were submitted, and that was just over the course of one day, which is just phenomenal. And if you watched my video a couple days ago, I had basically just gone on kind of like a rampage on how disgusted I was with PSA and how incompetent they were in terms of not limiting the amount of cards that were sent to them. Instead, they just decided to increase the price. They didn't actually do anything about the flow of the cards until they upped it to $300. Instead, you know, my personal opinion was they should have only done 5 to 10 card limit, and that way people could not send in thousands upon thousands of cards. So what I wanted to show you guys was I actually found a video of Genamint and how their AI software actually works, and it shows it in action. And I thought this was really interesting because we had talked about how difficult it would be for an AI to actually do this. The difference between a human person grading your cards and a computer grading your cards is night and day. The computer will catch things which our eyes just cannot see, no matter how good your eyesight is. You just won't catch them. I believe somewhere in the article it mentioned that the AI software can catch up to a single pixel being off. So we aren't talking about print lines anymore. We're not talking about hollow scratching or off centering. The AI can actually pick up to the pixel if a card is incorrect. So we jump over here. I want to show you this demo. And I'll let it run and we can talk about it. And it is from Genamint. This is not some BS video. This is from Genamint themselves. So I'm going to mute it because it does have music and I don't want to get DMCA'd. So here you go. These aren't Pokemon cards, by the way, that they're going to be showing you. These will be baseball cards and basketball cards, I believe. So this is it. This is the card here. And I'm going to move myself again, sorry. And so I guess it even knows which card it is by the looks of it. And as you can see, you know, it already comes up with all of the stuff like almost immediately. And it comes up with, this is really interesting because the grades aren't whole grades. They are grades with like a subgrade with inside them. So it's really cool. I always had this really annoyed feeling at PSA that they didn't do subgrades to begin with. CGC and Beckett are much better at that you can get the subgrade option. I love that. You know what's wrong with your card. So PSA have acquired a company which does subgrading, but as you can see, like here, it's not an 8, it's an 8.2. So it's even more intricate than perhaps it was before. And that leads me to the question of, like, do we have to add all these numbers up together and get like a I don't know which number it would be. Like, I don't know what eye appeal even means. I don't know what that's considered. I guess you add up these 5 here, and out of 50 it gives you a grade, or it gives you a grade of 100, so 8.2 would be 82%. Perfect. So I'm just gonna let it run again, and it goes through different types of cards to show you the different grades and everything. This is actually just being run by like a computer. So as you can see, some things take a little bit longer. The surface seems to take a lot longer than the edges and the corners and the centering does. And you can tell this card is super off-center. If you look down here, it's like slanted on just across this area here. So that's immediately, you know, but of course it's a 3.7. Like, I don't know what grade I would personally give that out of 10, but it's given it a 3.7. So it's really, really good. And I also wonder, like, how do they get this picture on there? Is it taken with a video? Like, is it taken via camera? Is this a live footage? Do they take pictures beforehand? I don't know. There's a lot of questions I want to ask, but this is like all that we do have of Genamint right now. And I believe it goes through a couple more cards, but you can see the speed already. Like, we're 57 seconds in, and about 6 seconds of that, so 51 seconds really, because we don't include the intro. 51 seconds, they've already graded 2 cards, a complete grade, everything is completely graded, which is way faster than a human. Imagine the human has to take it out of the top loader or the card saver and then the penny sleeve, look at it underneath the lighting and put it back down, put whatever notes they have to take, look at it again, put whatever notes they have to take again. And it takes a long time. I don't know the speed of which people usually do it at. I'm unsure. I'm unsure what the actual speed of a PSA grader is, but I assume it is nowhere near the speed of an AI computer. Amacan24, do you still have to send it out? I would 100% believe so, because people would be able to alter images. So this card, I assume, will go to PSA. I assume the AI grading will have some sort of scanning software where they scan the cards. Instead of giving it to a grader, they can scan the card. This card goes onto a computer, and then they can run the program on the computer. So I would assume they only have the card in hand for a minute before they put it back in the top loader and then send it to whatever next stage it is, and the computer grades it for them. I don't know if humans actually have anything to do with this whole thing. I assume that they would double check the AI and be like, okay, I agree with the artificial intelligence here. It is working and it's not broken. So I'm just gonna run it again. But yeah, it would be interesting to see on Pokemon cards or TCG cards. These are really, really old baseball cards that they're showing here. None of them, and that's really cool. If you didn't see that there quickly, the bottom 3 buttons that appear here, I think they can like scan the surface of it. So he clicks it, and that's the edges. So this one here seems to be the edge, and you can see that there's like this bit here where the AI is picking up something. It's picking up edgeware, it's picking up maybe perhaps dirt or something, and then we play it, and then here I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe it's just more edgeware again, and then they press again. It's there for a millisecond. I don't know, I can't capture it probably. I'm gonna see if I can quickly capture it. There we go. I assume this is the surface, how good the surface is. You see it's a 2.2. And you can see the surface. So up here obviously is really messed up. There's splodges perhaps here. Seems to be the corners of this card seem to be the problem. There's not too much damage like in this area here, or this area here. But really cool nonetheless. And I would love it if they kind of like gave you perhaps like a copy of the screening, so you yourself would be able to see, okay, this is what the AI is seeing, and it's 100% correct. So I don't know. So yeah, it's really interesting though. And obviously it's coming soon. This is just a demo. But really, really interesting. And so a bit behind this company. So if you guys don't know, PSA, the parent company of PSA, Collectors Universe. Sorry, I moved myself over a bit. Collectors Universe sold their company at $853 million to be a private company rather than a publicly traded one. So if you quickly look here, this was, I think it was February of this year, it stopped being a publicly traded company. And so at this point here is when the announcement was. It was trading at $78, went up to $90, $92, $93, and that's where it stopped now. I don't know what it's at now because it's not publicly traded, so I have no idea. But you can see the craziness that happened with PSA from March 2020 all the way up there. So, you know, it was worth $11 per share, which is pretty low for a company, but it's up all the way up to $91.92 per share, which is really, really high. And I assume, you know, if this was still a publicly traded company, the announcement of purchasing an AI software would have sent that probably above $100 for the stock. And so if you don't know, Collectors Universe is owned by these people here. Kevin Durant, basketball player for the Brooklyn Nets, probably one of the highest paid basketball players for sure. Andy Roderick, I'm not actually too sure who that is. Larry Fitzgerald, another sports person, football player for Arizona. And then Stephen Cohen, he owns the New York Mets, so already a super rich dude. And these guys bought it for $853 million. Now, I assume this software was not cheap. I assume that these guys here, the investors who purchased PSA's parent company, Collectors Universe, actually put some of their own money in or investment money into this. Because if you can see right here, although the revenue looks really good, year on year, PSA or Collectors Universe looks amazing. It's up 52%, which, you know, if you're getting 52% year on year, your company's looking really good, of 30.8 million. That's still, I don't think, enough to purchase an AI company. And it says here cash on hand was 36.7 million. I would probably, I think that AI would probably be worth way more than that. Just, you know, off the top of my head on its usefulness, you know, it gives PSA a huge competitive advantage. I'm sure CGC and Beckett were both looking at purchasing a company like this, and I would highly suspect CGC and Beckett are both going to be looking at something very, very similar, because if PSA can suddenly handle this huge load of, I think it was something like 25,000 cards per day at PSA arriving, you know, if they can cut that, you know, double or triple the amount of time reduce the amount of time it takes to grade a card, it would vastly improve them. So yeah, it's really interesting here. All of these kind of statistics here for PSA or Collectors Universe. But yeah, I think, you know, this is going to be a game changer. I thought this would come around at some point in 2021. I didn't realize, or sometime in the near future. Did not expect it to be this soon that we were going to see artificial intelligence grading our cards. But I do like that. And I'll tell you why I like the idea of AI being integrated into grading our cards. Impartiality. A computer is not going to be like, oh, okay, you know, I'm having a bad day at work. You know, there's so many factors that go into someone like grading something, whether it's preference, whether it's the type of card. You know, someone could just be having a bad day at work. With a computer, there's none of that, and there's no mistakes made. I'm sure people make mistakes when they're grading cards, but with a computer and AI, there's no mistakes, or there just shouldn't be. I wouldn't say there's no mistakes. I would say the risk of making a mistake is reduced, and I assume that this AI is not going to be perfect. I assume that they will be building upon this and doing upgrades and everything as time goes by. Here it says, when a card comes into PSA, it is scanned. Using Genamint's technology, the computer will pick up, well, I think that's instead of put up, will put up print marks and surface defects so that every card will be unique. Each card has different combinations of 70 major anomalies that we've identified, from major ones like creases and scratches and stains to single pixels that are compromised. So this is not some wish-wash kind of, like, it's not some basic technology. This is incredibly advanced to pick up that kind of thing. I assume is going to be incredibly advanced. It's weird though, because PSA just hired a bunch of people for grading. All over their Twitter and all over their website, they were saying, we're hiring people, come interview with us, blah, blah, blah. And then, 2 months later, they're getting AI in. It's weird, but I have a feeling, though, that the load is just far too much for humans to cope with. Far too much. And I'm glad they're doing this. And I have a feeling also that humans will not be made redundant. I feel as though there's going to have to be, those graders will become quality assurance people, where maybe 1 in 10 cards a human has to check.